I ask every speaker, what do you think of Slovakia? What do you think of what you have seen? Will we ever implement this I-voting, or what do you think? What's your estimate when this could come?
I sincerely hope that you introduce I-voting, especially, or electronic voting, especially, in sooner than later. After the conference, I believe that there is some movement, some momentum for the topic, that there's interest, and that is in general kind of a strategic approach behind the whole thing. If you ask me what I knew about Bratislava before I was here, well, I knew it's close to Vienna. I was very sorry that I haven't visited before, because I'm living now in Vienna for almost a year, and it's already known, or was known for me as kind of the location where most of the IT companies have their programming or developing centers, because labor is a bit cheaper than on the other side of the border.
Yeah, and they're very skilled. Which of the systems, I mean Norwegian, Estonian, and all the present, did you like the most?
It depends a lot on the requirements of the system. And the Estonian system, and I believe I can assess them as being kind of the neutral guy in the game. The Estonian system is very easy. It was kind of smaller system, small scale system. The Norwegian system, from today's point of view, is most likely the most sophisticated, the most advanced. It was the first one that took the verification mechanism serious, that tried to establish universal verification, tried to establish end-to-end verification. We can discuss if that came true, or that if they were able to realize it in perfect, but I think it's one of the most advanced ones, but also one of the most complicated ones. Being a German, coming from a country with a strong legal tradition or a strong electoral tradition with clear rules and clear principles, I would prefer the Norwegian approach.
And what did you think about the presentation of the Slovak company, of the Slovak guy?
I like the approach that using a telephone, and very easy, but to a certain extent there's a lot of room for improvement, especially this point was raised internally, that you can see the name on whatever. This is something, or this is the core principle of electronic voting, is that you are able to separate somehow the identity from the voter from the vote itself, which makes it difficult because you have IP addresses, you have log files, and you have to get kind of rid of all these reporting tools. On the other hand, you have to make sure that you offer verification mechanisms that are not tied to that. So I think there's room for improvement, but why not having a national solution?
Yeah. How is it with you and the security of these systems? Because there are always questions raised. Most of the presenters seem to have really successful results, but there still is some space.
There's first of all security. There's always room for improvement. The problem that you have to trust the cryptography to a certain extent, because this is the only solution of how you can kind of provide a high level of security in an electronic election, especially in an internet remote election. But that's, first of all, cryptography means it's getting complicated, and it's taken away from the normal, average understanding of election processes. But especially with remote electronic elections, you get problems like client security. So how is the voter able or check the security of the terminal, of his or her computer, malware, spyware, viruses, whatever. You can provide tools, but still there is some need for education and information. Well, it's bits and bytes, and bits and bytes are definitely not paper, which is something that everybody understands. Bits and bytes is more for technically advanced people to understand. So this is the basic challenge of security. The project we have heard today, like Norway, like Australia, the most recent one, the Seidel project. The Estonian project, well, they have different level of security, I would say, and still the Norwegian one is kind of the most advanced one when it comes to security, because they really were serious about the fact that they don't trust the voter's computer. And they don't trust the voter itself, basically. They said, okay, we have to give the voter the possibility to make sure that the vote was cast as intended and that it arrived in the voting server. And then you have some zero knowledge proofs and going further. And with the other system, yes, I'm not sure if they are so super secure. And you have the final security challenge is that using cryptography and using encryption, you're not sure if the code can be broken in or decrypted in 25 years, because we have bigger machines, higher computing power. So you have this problem of unconditional privacy, which we don't have in paper elections as well. So yeah, there's a lot of challenges still ahead. But I think I was quoted with the sentence that I'm fine with the current status quo if we keep improving.